So as we approach our 10th year of homeschooling, there are a few things that I've learned that can help set us up for success for the new school year. And these are the top 7 that I could think of things to do before the new school year starts. So if you've been homeschooling a while, you probably have a lot of stuff. You have a lot of supplies and curriculum and even books. And so what I'd like to do is go through what we have to kind of take inventory and declutter as much as I can. It's hard when you're early on in your homeschool journey. I feel like you do want to keep a lot of the books, a lot of the curriculum, because you most likely will use it in the future or want it as an option to use. So we are a little bit past that point where my youngest is in middle to late elementary school. So I feel like there are a lot of things every year now that we are able to let go of. We sell some of our books, we throw away or donate some supplies that are not going to be used any longer. And for supplies, I would say we try to take time to, and I get my kids involved in this, is like go through all the stuff, like pull everything out, go through all the stuff. Markers, my youngest will go through and test each marker, make sure it still works, throw away the dry ones, and keep what we can, and then they'll sharpen all the pencils, the color pencils. We'll check on our watercolor supplies, watercolor paper and journals. Those things tend to go quick in our house. And even the craft supplies, we'll go through. We have some drawers of those, and we'll throw things out or donate that we just know we're not going to use any longer. So because we've been homeschooling for a while, there's not a whole supply haul that we need to get anymore. I feel like we replenish just a few things, but for the most part, we have what we need for the next school year. So the second thing is curriculum. So we will go through our curriculum and declutter, just like with the supplies, but we also will I will take a look at our new curriculum for the school year, go through each one and prep each one for at least 6 weeks. I'll go through and look at the supply list, look at the book list, and I'll also check for any way that I can supplement that unit or that study with additional books, with field trips, with videos, things like that. Especially, it would be great to check on if there's a lack of diversity. And so I consult with my friend Nicole over at Stories of Color. She has a great website that is easily searchable for whatever you're looking for, geography, time period, all stories of color and written by people of color, which is important. So you can go through the book list in your curriculum of choice and scan it for how can you enrich it? How can you what books can you bring in that would add diversity and stories from people of different backgrounds. The third thing that I like to do is meet with each child and see where they are at the end of the school year. What did they love about the school year? What topics did they really enjoy studying about? Doing this each year, you kind of get a sense of what style of learning they enjoy, what style of curriculum even that they respond well to. Are they growing a deeper interest in a certain subject? All these things are great information to collect. I also will ask them, what is something that they want to study in the next school year? And so I think I've shared this on Instagram before, but my daughter had mentioned flowers, and so I made sure to incorporate a whole flower study. We used Flower of the Month Club by Chicky and Rue, and every month she was able to study a different flower, learn facts about them, see photos of them, and even create her own watercolor of each flower. And so I think just getting their input on how they think their past year went and what they would like to see in the next year is helpful for their own buy-in into their education, and just knowing that their opinion does matter and that you care about that. The fourth thing I would suggest is when you make your schedule for the new homeschool year, it can be very exciting. You are super motivated, and so I tend to put too much on the plate, and it can be overwhelming for your child and for yourself. And while you have the motivation and while you are excited about the school year, and most likely your child is too, I would try to leave room for margin. And with my kids, that looks like not overscheduling the schoolwork, especially in the beginning, even though I want to so badly. I'm like on fire. I'm ready to go. The kids seem excited, and so there's this temptation to pile it on and thinking that it's all lovely, it's all enjoyable, but too much of a good thing is just not good, right? So we start slow. We will take one subject at a time and add it in. Sometimes I'll pick the most challenging one for me to teach, the most involved, or the one that I'm not sure of, or the newest curriculum that I'm unfamiliar with, and start that first, just so that it's on its own and we can all get the hang of it together. But as we build up each week into our full schedule, our full load, I would suggest still leaving room for margin. I think seeing the relationships develop through those instances are so rewarding. My kids tend to gravitate towards Legos and piano, and right now they're making stop motion videos together, just leaving room for their own creativity, finding some passions, allowing them to be bored so that they can really get creative and resourceful. So along with your scheduling, we try to not schedule things in the morning. So I'll make a point to reserve our mornings for schooling, and the summer this is the time when I will meet up with friends for lunch and make doctor appointments, dentist appointments, all those kind of things. But for the school year, for the most part, I really try to keep our mornings reserved for schooling and just get the bulk of that in before lunch, and then have time afterwards if needed. So that has been something that is different for us in the past probably 3 years. I used to schedule all our appointments in the day because that's when they have the most availability. Doctors and dentists and orthodontists, they are used to serving the kids after school hours, and so during the day there's so much availability for appointments. And so I thought, oh, that's a perk, and it is, but there is a consequence to that, in that we lose our rhythm. I might rush the kids because I'm hoping to get it done before their appointment, or rushing them afterwards because I want to be done. So I think allowing us that time and just reserving it as a committed time of schoolwork has been really helpful, to just set that time apart for homeschooling. Another thing I will make a point to do is, while we're looking at our curriculum, while I'm looking ahead, is to try to think of what field trips we want to take. I tend to put that last, and that's I think playing board games and field trips have been my two things from last year that I really wanted to improve on, and we've made some improvements, but I still feel like I need to do a better job about implementing those two things into our days, because they are so enjoyable for the whole family, and it really helps to bring the learning to life and break it up and just make it more enjoyable while creating memories as well. And so field trips are big. I really want to take more initiative to schedule field trips. Some are suggested within a curriculum, but most of the time, especially for these older years in middle school and high school curriculum, there's not too many suggestions for field trips. And so that's something that I want to take more initiative on. Research we have so many things here locally to us that can be relevant to what we're studying. It just takes some thought and planning. So that's something I definitely want to put effort into planning for in the summer for the school year. And the last thing that goes along kind of with the field trips is planning celebrations. And maybe this comes easy to you. There's probably a lot of people great at this, but for me, just planning in the fun things and planning in breaks and adding, the enchantment and the delight to the everyday is hard for me. I get really caught up in the grind. I think my to-do list, what is the next thing? we don't have time to stop, that kind of thing. So I do need to take time to plan out just making certain things more special. What's important to you? So you want to think, our birthdays, days that you want to take off school, reserve it as a fun day. They get to pick an activity they want to do, or friends to hang out with, or the first day of school, even that, how to make that special, not to just jump right into a lesson, but if that's something that you would want to have, a special morning treat, or just introduce them to the books that they're going to read, and kind of like a preview to what the school year will entail. So those kind of things I want to take time in the summer to map out and just make a plan so that it is part of our schedule. If I don't plan it, we can just easily get right to it and let those opportunities for celebration pass us by. So those are the 7 things that I want to do this summer before we start the new school year. So if you've gained a new idea you want to try, give this video a like. And I know I've only mentioned 7, and I know there's a lot more than that, of ways to start the year off effectively. What can we do in the summer to start off strong? And I would love to hear your tips in the comments. I share a lot on Instagram stories. I hope to see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.